The old world was rigged, designed to rip us apart. That was the world of the dead.
I know what it means to go back to Manhattan. It's cost me a lot. Almost everything.
You wanted Negan dead once. Now you want to save his life.
It's different now.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
What is up, people? What is going on? Welcome. We are here with the final episode of Dead City, episode 8. And yeah, we definitely going to get into this one. Brian, what were your thoughts of it? Oh, actually, tell the people where they can find you. My bad. I'm getting way ahead of myself.
That's all right. Hey, I'm 1/3 of Spoiler Kings. We went live last night. We're going again Thursday and Saturday. We're going to be talking about Ironheart. We're going to talk about all the movies. F1 looks good as hell, so we're going to talk about that Saturday. And we're going to actually do a watch along, I think, on Saturdays. We're going to go through all the Harry Potter stuff, and then we go talk about all the casting on HBO. So we'll see.
Oh, Harry Potter watch along?
Yep.
All of them?
All of them.
When? I'm down for that shit. When is that going to be?
We're going to do it Saturday. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be fun.
I love Harry Potter, bro.
Ain't no way I want to watch that.
I ain't reading all the books, but yeah, I like the movies. I did read the last book, though. The last book was fire.
Well, you guys will be on your own on that one because I couldn't care less about it.
It's so good. And you know what? The best part about going back through all this stuff, you forget stuff. You forget how good things and what things are supposed to be, and you can compare the book to the movie. So we're going to do a watch along and talk about it for everybody.
I got you.
So what time y'all starting?
9:30. I'm starting on time. I don't care if they're here
9:30 a.m.
p.m. 9:30 p.m. Saturday.
Shit, I ain't staying up to know this. 5 in the morning by the time.
Oh no, they're not watching. I don't think they're watching all one night. No.
We'll watch one. We'll watch one every Saturday for
Okay, leading up until it. Okay, I got you. Okay.
We'll watch one and we'll talk about it and we'll compare and then say if the casting is good or not. Because people want to complain without actually looking at it.
That would be crazy if you guys sat there and watched them all in one day. That would be.
No, man, I could watch the last 3. I could watch the last 3. I could not watch all of them because those first 2 are hard to watch right now.
I got you. But JG, you know what to do.
JG Shaolin Terrific, the undefeated, undisputed final boss of the 36 Chambers of Shaolin. Ooh, the Black Jim Kelly martial artist, movie actor, Nzo, the black guy. Man, he comes straight out of a comic book. That guy, that Jim Kelly, not the NFL sports, whatever you thought it was. That Jim Kelly, Afro Thunder Jim Kelly. You hear me? Yo, welcome to this Dead City Season 2, Episode 8 roundtable discussion. Catch me live Wednesday nights on the OOC with the host, Nzo, a.k.a. the Abbott, and the Osiris of the the Spliff King, the Professor of Gunja, alongside his co-host, Roberto, a.k.a. Mr. 100, a.k.a. No Trouble Dead. Anything going to be Irie. No woman, no cry. And please be sure to check out the behemoth himself, the giant, the dreadlocked assassin, Chi-Town's finest, the boss, 1/3 of the Spoiler Kings, my casting for Luke Cage, forget you, Mike Coulter, and the real Yasuke, everybody get on your feet, for 1/3 of the Titans, look at the hater, 1/3 of the Titans of YouTube, Brian, the Grizzly.
That does sound good. You are.
This hater over here at the top.
Over there. This is what he does.
This hater.
So first off, I warned you about the Jim Kelly thing last week when we did this, right? I remember making that warning again, and you didn't heed the warning. So I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna be like Trump. I'm gonna give you one more warning. Wait, mess around and you can find out. Yeah. So,
wow,
guys,
so
what
do
is
like Trump?
huh?
Y'all
What's
heard
that?
it here
No.
first.
No.
That's what I heard.
I heard it too.
All right. Well, you guys know what I meant. You know what I meant. You know.
I'm telling you, man, defense LeBron and defense Trump. Oh my God.
Yeah, I walked right into that one myself. But we're definitely here to talk about Dead City, regardless of the crap JG has been spewing since the show began. I also had a little bit of a video I wanted to show you guys at the end of this. It's some YouTuber made a little video, and I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on it because I thought it was absolutely trash. It was doo-doo. So, anyways, first off, Brian, your thoughts on this episode?
So I had time to kind of sit down and think about it. And I thought about what is Dead City? And, they framed it really as the story of Maggie, and how she had to go after Glenn and what's going on with her show and all in her part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they kind of reintroduce Negan. And I think this episode really showed that Dead City is both about Maggie and Negan. That's the whole show was about. And it's about getting them together and them understanding each other. So
100.
that was intent. It seems like this the intent. It's the two most important characters, and they mirror each other because they are very similar. Maggie's become very much like Negan, and Negan's become less Negan and understand his faults. Even as when he tries to go back full Negan, we see him fall back because it's not who he is anymore.
Yep.
And I think that was this entire point of this episode specifically. We had other characters. They all went through it. We saw what happened with the Bruegel, but all that is the background. The main thing is about those two, and they did a really good job with the storytelling in this finale. I watched it again, and it didn't seem as short as I thought it was. It's because I was anticipating a lot of stuff, but I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Lauren Cohan did their job, did a good ass job, and I really enjoyed it.
I agree. JG.
I kind of agree with what Brian said. As far as Les Negan, I'm not saying he's wrong about it. He's probably 9 times out of 10 he's probably right. So I'm usually the wrong one. I don't think he was less Negan. I thought that the situation he was in, he couldn't be the Negan he needed to be. Because the Negan we saw in Walking Dead, he had power, he had control. He can be that guy. This time he kind of had to just watch, observe, and as he gained that power towards the end, that Negan started creeping back out, right? Especially this last finale, But yeah, I agree with you, man. This whole season was great. This finale was really good. I do also agree with Brian that it wasn't as quick as I thought it was. See what else? It was just. This was probably the most action-packed out of every episode, if you want to call it action-packed. But it did have some intricate details with some dialogue there. Introduced other factions who were talked about but now coming in. And this is just how are all these people going to be able to control this one city that is so intricate in control, right? And we saw that. And we saw a lot of backstabbing. We saw a lot of questioning of each other, like, are you the person I thought you were? So it was a lot of that going on. And like people say, The Walking Dead wasn't about the zombies, it was about the people. I would say the same thing with this one. It was about the people.
100%. And we bring it up, right? Because we've been talking about this show for this whole season. You know what I mean? I did a little discussion for season 1, 2 as well. And it's like a dead city. We didn't really talk about like it. It's a Maggie and Negan story, but it's also about the dead city they're in and people trying to take it over, and they're probably going to have to protect it, maybe to the point where they end up bringing their communities there. You know what I mean? Building a community themselves, bringing, hey, you know what? We're going to rebuild the city, because what Herschel's idea and his view, and with the Dharma as well, is to rebuild the city, but in a new way instead of going back to the old. So it cuts to a point where it's like, yeah, it could be about actually bringing this dead city back to life as well. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that. You know, I never really thought of it until this episode when when we watched it again, I was like, you know what? It makes a lot of sense why the show is actually called Dead City now. You know, so I did it, but I do agree with you guys. I 100% love this episode. And to the Negan part, I think to the point Negan did bring out old Negan, but I think it also was to the point where he didn't want to be old Negan, because when he said he was going to kill them all, he would have killed Percy, then went for the Bruegel, right? But he's like, no, I don't really want to kill you. I want to kill you. And I also believe that, like, let's say Maggie didn't step in, he would have let Percy live. You know what I mean? Because his real issue was with the Bruegel and not Percy per se anymore. So, but we're going to get into that when we get to kind of like the end of the episode. But it's definitely a lot of good stuff to talk about.
I want to ask you guys a question before we get too far in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was looking at it, and I happened to be watching Patrick Stewart's Christmas Carol. Okay, it came on TNT, and this is what it is. And then I thought about it, and I was thinking about Negan, and it seemed like he was visited by those three ghosts. You know, like the past him, you know, the present him, and the future him. And he chose in the future to not be the past Negan. So like he basically, Maggie went right up to the line, you know, to killing him. You know, so I guess it could be a Christmas Carol moment for each one of them, you know, for them, because they are mirrors of each other, so that makes sense. But you know, but it's like you're looking at the past, you're looking at the future, the present, and how you are right now, and choosing a new iteration of who you're going to be going forward. And I thought that was interesting. I don't know if you guys felt the same way with that kind of thing right there.
No, but it makes sense now that you say it. I could see that, right? Because even at the end, when it was like, it was Jenny who she showed and she smiled, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you know, my job is to protect her right now, right? So that's the future. What he had to do was to protect her. And I think now that you said that, we're going to get to the point where he's going to realize he has to do whatever he's doing for his family. I don't think he's going to be type of, I don't want to see them, send them back. I think he's going to embrace it a lot more, especially after what happened to Jenny. So I like that. JG?
I agree. That's it. I agree.
All right. So we start off with Maggie, and Maggie is locked up and she's chained up and she wakes up past the intro. Skip the intro. There we go. Okay, so it started off with Maggie wakes up because it continued where she left off, where, you know, Dharma beat her in the head. And then we have Bruegel, and he has a bunch of weapons, and we talked about it earlier when we watched. It's like, man, if they just got two guns, it's over. You know what I mean?
Dude, if it was like Last of Us, one person will kill everybody.
100%. 100%. You know, so they're having a conversation and they're talking about weapons and they're gonna go back and kill people, but Pearlie is more interested on where Jenny is. And we find out that actually Bruegel was the one who sent Jenny off to go find Negan because he thought that she was going to kill Negan. And he was like, no, that wasn't her plan. And I think we talked about that earlier, that she didn't really want to kill Negan. So what were you guys' thoughts on Bruegel doing this? Go ahead, JJ, you first.
I think it's him trying to figure everybody out. Because you see, I can't stand that guy. But he's been lying ever since. You know, the whole thing he's done nothing but lie. So he's more of a detriment to everybody, anybody. But yeah, I think he's figuring everybody out. And once this guy admitted that Maggie's confused, what'd he say? I got you, right? He's very Negan-esque in his own way.
Yeah,
just not. I don't know if he's as outwardly as ruthless as Negan was, but he's very Negan-esque.
I could see that. And it's funny that you say that too, because he kind of like he tricked the brute. He was like, "Oh, I sent her," and they're like, "Oh, she's important to Negan. She's important to you too, so I can use that." You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Now I know, JJ. I'm gonna say I'm still gonna give Curly a little bit of the benefit of the
Not
doubt
me.
because he did the right things at the end of this episode. He did the right things. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt on that one. Brian, what are your thoughts?
I think Bruegel is someone who tries to manipulate people and thinks that he's smarter than he really is. When you think you're more than who you are, you always end up losing. You think about it from the beginning when he manipulated the fighting, the zombie fight. And he tried to cheat. And when someone found him out, he cowers back, right? The same thing is going on now. Like he thinks he knows it, but he doesn't know them well enough to be part of their game. This is still a two-person story. Pearlie's part of the two-person story because he's been around for a long time, right? He knows them, so he understands the way people do things. He understands how each one of them are going to move. Bruegel's coming in blind. He has no idea how they're going to move. So I think that's the difference between the Bruegel and the Dama. The Bruegel thinks he knows everyone and moves too quickly. The Dama manipulates it, stays back, watches how you react, pays attention to little things like Maggie staring at Herschel. She pays attention to all those things and then makes behind the scenes moves. Because he's so upfront, he makes mistakes and he assumes things instead of figuring out and let people show who they are. And that's the difference between it being a good villain and a Bond villain. That's going to tell everybody your entire plan and how feeble they are. The entire time you're going to spell it all out, and then you're going to die. That's what happens.
And to your point too, which I'll agree with, is even when he brought in the Trojan horse, they thought they were doing something good, but it was still, you know what I mean? Even with that, it still wasn't enough for what Negan had planned for them. So you're
underestimating people. He doesn't know who they are.
Thought he was smarter than anything else. But they do have a little fight here, and he takes a knife, puts it to his neck, and then Bruegel uses his little watch knife, cuts Pearlie's hand, and says, if things go sideways, he's going to use Jenny as the insurance. And that's when he finds out that they pretty much had feelings for each other. So we go to Negan. Well, not feelings, but like, father, son.
Love.
And we got
like
Negan. Yeah, exactly. Wants to protect her kind of thing, Negan's sitting here. He's talking about, looking at Jenny on the ventilator. And he's telling this guy that he can bounce because shit is about to hit.
Go back to that last scene real quick.
This one?
One more. Right there. So you see how everything is set up and how the machine is against the wall and it shouldn't fall in any way, shape, or form, right? And then remember what happens at the end, how we see it topple over. How will it topple over? Someone had to do it.
Well, I would say because when I watched it again, I was looking for that, right? When she goes to the door, she still or the cage, she still has the thing in her mouth. So it's possible she died, and when she caught off the bed and was crawling to the door, it fell over. That's a possibility, but
it definitely could have.
Yeah. But I mean, suspense-wise, story-wise, it would kind of make sense if he did it, right? Give Negan something to go after, you know what I mean? So I
just think that we're going to find out in the next season that someone did something to cause the death, because this is his new motivation and storytelling wise, finding out it's not just, she just died, someone caused her death. And why wouldn't it be the person that you thought you shared so much with and who's now on the other team?
It could be, and it could be someone from New Babylon, right? Because we've seen at one point New Babylon was up on that roof. How the hell did they get there so quick? So if they were able to do that, doesn't mean they weren't searching around the dungeons as well, right?
So, one of my biggest thing is even that scene when everybody goes down and nobody looks in the cage. Nobody looks that direction until the arm is out. Like, she's down there the whole time. Why? I don't know.
Well, I'll say this, and I agree with you, probably because at least Maggie's point, she was focused on killing Negan at that point, right? And I think Negan was actually crawling to the cage. So when he got down there, it seemed like he was like crawling to the cage. If he died, I guess he wanted to die with her or by
No,
her.
I mean like
see
even
her.
before that, when they were all down there, they had Pearly and the
Oh, when
other
they had
guy.
Pearl. Okay,
Yeah, everybody's down there by themselves.
yeah.
So at what point did she die? In turn,
And my other question is, when did they close the gate? Close the opening of the cell?
Mm-hmm.
and he was the last one down there, right?
Because Negan walked out, right?
Yeah.
We'll see in here. We'll see if he walked out and he actually closes the gate or not, closes the door or not. Because if he
Okay,
doesn't, who closed the door?
And how many people knew she was down there?
So it doesn't show it there. But yeah, we'll
Yeah.
see. There's probably another scene. How many people knew she was down there? Maybe just those two. But I mean, if New Babylon was able to get on the roof, who's to say that they didn't have soldiers searching around on the bottom of those floors?
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, but that kid also saw the New Babylon, right? And talked to them. Oh, you're from New Babylon? Hey, and the first thing you do to endear yourself to them is to tell them about probably the most dangerous person that they're coming after. They all know Negan. New Babylon knows about Negan.
Yeah,
So,
but that's what I'm saying. So when
New Babylon say,
hey,
the girl he loves, the little girl he loves, is downstairs. Let me show you. And then New Babylon,
he could have did that too. He could have did that too. Or you know what I mean? It could have been either way, someone walking around and scoping out, or he could have been like, hey, downstairs, come.
Or it could have been just simple as she's died right then and just, all our theory's been wrong so far.
Yeah, that could be right too. Yeah, that could be right too. That she just died. You know what I mean? But I think if it's one thing with this show, they may try to use that as a mystery or not, or they may just do like, because we thought there was going to be all kinds of twists and turns at the end of this episode, and the only really one was that she died. So it's interesting. But we get Maggie. She's chained up and she's trying to get out. She sees keys, and then the Dharma comes in and she's talking about, I was happy to meet you, and it finally get to meet you to talk about her son. And then she's telling him about, basically killing Negan. It's like, I always thought that Negan was the one that was going to run the new world, but it's not Negan, it's you. And I think the reason why she thought it was her is because she sees Negan in her, right? You know what I mean? Like we talked about the mirror images, where even though Maggie's not like a ruthless killer like old Negan was, but she has that in her, And I think, again, this is another thing that the Dharma seen and was being very manipulative, basically telling her that, if you want to save your son, you know what you need to do. And they let her go to kill Negan. So what are you guys' thoughts on this, Brian?
I wonder if she knew, if the Dama knew that this was going to happen, and she pushed her towards that to really pull Herschel on her side. She knew she really didn't want to kill Negan, so that's why she pushed it and put all that work, all those things into Herschel's head, and now he thinks she didn't kill Negan, so she must not really love me. She wants to do this dance. She wants to continue, and it's going to be the same thing over and over again. But the Dama already knew this was going to happen. That's why her and Herschel were out on the rooftop looking at all this stuff. Like, she knew what was going to happen. I think she's a very manipulative and smart person, and she's always planning, and she's going to be a problem going forward.
Agreed. And again, because I got that video to show, but so far her army is done and it's just her and Herschel. But I always think that she knows Maggie's still alive. She knows Negan's still alive, right? She knows Maggie's going to want to come back for Herschel sooner or later, right? Only way to do that is to pretty much stop New Babylon. So at the end of the day, she still knows she's going to get what she wants to, because Maggie and Negan are going to have to go after New Babylon, So interesting.
I think she even looked right. She even looked at it and reevaluated and said, Negan can't win this on his own. Maggie can't win this on her own. So let me force them to do it together.
Yeah, I can see that. Like she knew Maggie wasn't going to kill Negan. JG.
Oftentimes when I see shows and movies like this where they have this scrawny, near death looking person that's kind of leading everybody, it's like, how in the world could this person have this much control over everyone? And we see the dumb as that manipulation, right? Playing with your heart, playing with your mind, right? It's like, hey, like with Negan, I know where your wife and kid are. Do what I say, or they're gonna be dead. If you want to see them live, you gotta do what you like. And it's like she knows how to, it's almost like the Game of Thrones thing where the guy had his, what do you call them, his crows, his little ravens, whatever you call them.
Mm-hmm.
Look, he out there just getting all the information for him. I still think she had somebody other than Herschel out there getting all this information. Because how did she get all this information?
That's a good point.
And so the whole Negan thing kind of wasn't working, right? Because Maggie's confused. Everyone's confused about, hey, you hate him this much. He did all this. So why are you not killing him yet, right? So what does she do? I have to go a different route. And that's what she does. And that's when it's almost like good cop, bad cop thing, right? Where the dumb is a good cop. I'm going to throw all this stuff at you. Okay, now I'm sending Herschel afterwards. So you can see you not killing Negan, how painful it is for Herschel. And that's your son. You don't want to displease your son. So, and she did all that. Like, this woman is she's got to go. She got to go.
What up, Tony? He said, if the city's dead, let's wake it up. 100%. And I do believe that's what they're trying to do, because we already see what the methane does, right? It lights up the city. You know what I mean? And we haven't seen anything like that in any of the Walking Deads where they had like that kind of, lighting and all kinds of stuff. Like they could really power back the city. So it's like you said, Dead City is definitely something that they might try to wake up. And 100%, I could see this like whole thing, Walking Dead, ending with some sort of a cure. You know what I mean? So,
and it's like the methane is almost like the water from the Book of Eli. Right, that water, you have so much power just because you had the water. Holding that city with all that methane, you got so much power, so much control, and people gonna be coming to you, giving you whatever you want, so they can just get a piece of it. So that place, man.
Is it only though because everyone who wants it is the people that lived it before? Like if you really think about how it is now, how important it is right now, you wouldn't hold the same importance. But now that everyone's thinking about, I want to get back to the way things used to be, that's why it's becoming this now. They're giving it the importance without really knowing why.
Especially when they went without something like that for so long. You know what I mean? Yeah. Go ahead.
And it could be, it could also be, and I don't agree with you. I don't disagree with you. I mean, it also could be, we have an abundance of everything. You don't really hold it to that high regard. Like, I can get water out the faucet. I can go water it, but once it's gone, now it becomes more important to you because you have less of it.
Yeah.
And so, and piggyback on what you said, that and along with that too.
Yeah.
The problem is that the only place where methane is available?
Well, right now, I think so, because of the way they do it, to using the dead bodies to make it. I don't think anybody's thought of that yet. Now, it's possible that because even when we watched the Rick and Michonne show, they had power, but it wasn't like the same thing, right? With this, you have zombies and I think what they can do is, if they ever decide that there's going to be a cure, the way to, get rid of all the zombies is to turn them into the methane, right? You get those zombies, throw them up into methane until you can actually build your cities back up again and using regular electricity. So it's interesting.
It's funny because you said something about they're going to rebuild the city, and methane is very flammable. My thought is that what's going to happen is someone's going to try to get a hold of it, and they're going to blow the methane up. That's why it's important that people don't know where it is, because all you do is set a fire to it, and you could blow it down and blow up the entire city basically on that methane.
Well, you know what? I honestly believe that will be New Babylon. If they can't get it, they're going to blow it up. You know what I mean? So
if they can't beat them, if Maggie and Negan can't beat them, they blow the shit up.
Yeah, well, one of the two, right? I think more New Babylon would kind of, I could see Maggie and them trying to do that too.
Because there's a smaller group of them, and I can't fight all these people. And you try to do all the things you're trying to get everyone on your side.
You want the methane so bad? Well,
You know where all the stuff is. You go underground. You figure out a way to get over there, and you blow it up and kill everybody.
Yeah, I can see that.
And reset it. It's like they're giving you all these chances for to build a new world. And this is even what the Dama was talking about to Herschel. Build a new world and not try to count on the old world.
What we did in the past. I could see
Exactly.
that. I could see that. We get to this guy playing the organ, and then we have Bruegel and his guys walking in with Pearlie. They're dropping their weapons at the door, but they bring a gift, right? Now, did you guys think Trojan horse when you first seen this?
Yep.
Yes, 100%.
100%. You know what I mean? Like, it was obviously that there was something with that statue. You know, it wasn't just a friendly gesture. We all knew it. But I think Negan's plan was so much more better, right? So they start talking about the gifts, and Negan's like, oh, come have some food. You know, this is a great feast. Bruegel's not taking it. He's like, nah, you know what? We're definitely not going to eat any of that food. But if you want to eat it, you can go right ahead.
Of course not.
So Negan walks over to the table.
Your loss.
And they start eating the food. So I'm like, okay, because I know we talked about, and it was kind of like a foreshadowing type of thing when Croat talked about what Negan did with the food and giving them a feast, and it was zombie meat. You know, I didn't think it was zombie meat at first, but I was like, well, after he ate it, of course not. But I was like, maybe it's not in the meat, but it's in like their drinks or something like that. You know what I mean? I didn't think he would actually put it in the meat. I thought he would try something different, put it in the food. Did you guys think he instead of in the food? Did you guys think he was going to do something like that?
I did, because I'm like, where the hell would you get the meat from?
Mm-hmm.
Where you getting ribs? I didn't see not one cow.
Facts.
I watched this entire show. I watched the last couple of seasons. I didn't see not one cow. It's the middle of New York City. You got cows in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Where'd you get the meat from? So that's what I thought. Like, you know, and then if you had meat, why would you waste it on a fake barbecue? So like, I had certain theories like this must be something else.
What about you, JJ?
Yeah, the closest thing we saw to some meat was a zombie bear, and that was the only bear we saw. Right, so where, like I said, where are you getting this meat from, bro? But then again, he still could have poisoned the foods. He went right towards the meat, right? So who's to say the other stuff wasn't poisoned? Because we know Negan, he has multiple plans that work at once. If one fails, he's got another one. So,
and then we actually see Negan's plan, right?
We good?
We're good.
Door shut. And zombies.
How was he able to keep those zombies quiet that whole time?
Therein lies the problem. Therein lies the problem with that part. As much as I thought it was a good plan, the zombies didn't make a fucking sound. Really?
Is that why they were playing the organ when they all walked in the entire time? They're playing the organ.
Could
be, but that would have to be a loud fucking organ, right? And if you're playing it that loud, then you wouldn't be able to hear each other talk either. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I love the plan. I disagree with you guys that it's like, that kind of don't make sense. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What do you think, JG?
Yeah, like how are you able to keep those zombies quiet that entire time, right? And how long did that conversation last? About a good 4 or 5 minutes.
Yep.
Name me one zombie that was quiet for more than 30 seconds in this whole show. That makes sense, but I don't know, man. It's good TV. It is what it is.
You got to take some of these things, right?
Yeah.
You got to take it. But then they bring out the torches and the zombies start to attack. And then we skip to Maggie. And again, this is Maggie's conversation with the Dharma, and she's talking about how Negan killed her family and how Herschel told me what you're capable of, and I want you. She understands that right now the Dharma wants her to kill Negan, and the Dharma does what the Dharma does, manipulates and gets in your mind, and exactly what she did, and has Maggie deciding that she's probably going to kill Negan. So what do you guys' thoughts on the Dharma in this situation?
You go first, JG.
She doing what she does best. Right? She has no army. She got to use whatever got her to her position. That's what she's got to do, and she's doing it well. Well, it did work well for us for a little bit. She wants to kill Negan so she can get her army back. But nobody knows New Babylon's there yet. So which is very it's very ironic towards, because we all know we're gonna get there at the end when they're on the rooftop. She's first time we see her nervous looking. Right?
Yeah.
She's always been kind of like Schmeagle kind of acting, but she's very nervous at that stage.
What do you guys think of her as, a bad guy in this? You think she's killing it? Because I think she's doing a damn good job.
This is the difference, I think, between her and Bruegel. She's not just a bad guy, but she's like a Lex Luthor type of bad guy, where she thinks about all problems and tries to let people make decisions and hurt themselves instead of the Bruegel going out and doing too much and then catching himself up. She never puts herself in that bad situation. In this entire season, she was always staying back, not being in harm's way. Even when she went and met with someone else, she let someone else do all the talking. She always sits back and watches everybody and see how they react, and then she makes a plan for it. And that's when you see it. We just saw the Bruegel, right? And seeing her right after seeing the Bruegel, you see why she's a much better manipulator.
Agreed, 100%. JG?
Whoop.
JG?
I'm thinking what that's.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So question was, how do I feel about her as a villain? I think she's only as good as the power she holds. Without an army, she's really nothing but tactics. And it's easy to work on a kind of a confused, weak-minded person like Maggie at this point. But someone like Negan, someone who, not necessarily not Negan, but close to him, it's not going to work.
It's interesting to see that, because so she has Herschel, right? Herschel is connected to both Negan and Maggie, right? So like she might not have an army, but she has leverage over the two most powerful entities there.
Oh, she definitely has leverage.
And that gives her more. She doesn't have an army, but she has two badasses people in the entire city. So I think that's why she's still that real, villain.
Because
and she doesn't tell her entire plan. She never tells anyone her plan.
Yeah. And even when Maggie grabbed the keys, she was like, I don't want to hurt anybody. And she was referring to Herschel. You know what I mean? So she's still given the threat that, if Maggie doesn't do what she's going to do or kill Negan, she's going to hurt Herschel. But we see that she doesn't do that at the end, obviously, because I guess she figures that's leverage, especially now with New Babylon coming in. So we'll see how that goes. But we get back to the fight where Negan is eating an apple and he's doing Negan stuff. He's like letting everybody get involved, Percy's fighting. But then you see, and JG, this is the part, and this is the part where I was like, this mother effort. Like, you really fucking, like, are you with me or the Negan, Maggie, the Bruegel? Because he's the one that broke it. And I guess the zombies attacking, he may have needed weapons too.
Yeah, he needed a way to survive him too.
Yeah, but he just gave them, like, you know what I mean, an advantage by giving them the weapon. Which I guess with Bruegel bringing that in there, we all knew sooner or later it was going to happen. But then Negan goes, grabs Lucille, and shit is hitting the fan. Like, everybody's fighting. I think here is where Pearly kind of made like a change when he seen that Bruegel just burned the guy alive with the propane. Like, the look on his face is kind of like, fuck, all right, maybe you're not one I should be with either, right? And I do also believe that he wanted to kind of protect Jenny. So what did you guys think?
I think Pearlie was already decided that he didn't care for the Bruegel, and he was already looking for opportunity to get out of his under his thumb. Like he already threatened him with a knife. Like he doesn't want to be with this dude. So like I thought that he was trying to figure out the best way for him to get out of this situation. You know, don't get me wrong. Like he likes Negan. He doesn't like Negan, you know, but he knows Negan. He knows Negan loves Jenny, and that puts a different level on their relationship. He don't know the Bruegel, and he just sees that he doesn't care about anybody. So first you want to deal with that person that don't care about anybody. You want to deal with that first, and then get to his part. So but first I make sure I don't die. And I think that's what he was trying to do.
I got you. JG?
That was one of those enemy of my enemy is my friend type of things where he knows, Negan's my enemy, but I'm not under his thumb. This guy will kill me at any second. At least Negan has shown he has some type of compassion. This other guy, nah. Right? So I think the reason why he knocks stuff like the weapons, number one, to save himself. And knowing he can't beat all those things by himself, so he has to give other people weapons so that can help him survive, which could be foreshadowing to later events in other seasons where it's going to be you or it's going to be them.
Yeah, I can see that. So we have Maggie, and she's still locked up. Herschel comes in, and now I believe that the Dharma was like, okay, I talked to her, now it's your turn. You know what I mean? So Herschel goes in there and he's talking about, oh yeah, you talked to the Dharma and you need to do this because I know you think about Negan all the time and you're miserable and it's not working. So only way to be free is to kill Negan. And then we cut to Maggie.
Okay.
Pretty much saying, okay.
I'll finish it. Then I'll come back for you.
And then this old goat wraps her arms around Herschel and gives that little smile like this is exactly what we need to do. Now, do you think that Herschel actually wants Negan dead, or the Dharma is putting that shit in his head to make him think that? Go ahead.
think, I think both the Dharma and Maggie have some responsibility with that. Right? Because we see later Maggie and Herschel have this conversation. That should be the conversation they should have had a long time ago. And maybe Herschel may have been a different character, but then it'll be a different story. So, but I think her and Maggie had their hands in it. Maggie kind of got it going, but the Dharma, being manipulative as she is, used it to her advantage and kind of just blew it up even more. So now every time Maggie does something that's like, okay, you say you hate Negan, but you're not doing anything to kill him. The Dharma was right about you, right? The Dharma loves me because she wants me to get my revenge on him for killing my father. You don't, right? So all that I think is coming into his head. So but there are times when you can see he's kind of confused a little bit, but for the most part, I think he's all on Dharma's side right now.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So it reminds me a little bit of Pinocchio. I feel like that's what's going on with Herschel. When in Pinocchio they take the kids and they take them to the carnival and they give them all the stuff, and then they turn into goats because they think that these people care about them and they're giving everything and everyone else is the bad person. I think that's what she's doing with him. Little boys want freedom, and even if the freedom kills them, they don't care. They don't have that insight that foresight. And I think that this is very much like that. He wants to be this new, not just a new boy, but like a man in this situation. And she's just playing into that. And then she's going to turn like a viper and kill him.
Agreed. 100%.
I wish I could right now trade Herschel for Jenny. I'll take it right now.
Facts. Me too. And then we have the historian. He's up on the roof and he's talking to this woman. He's looking at the zombies. And see, he's going to be a problem too. Because when he gets back to New Babylon, he's gonna tell them how they were using the zombies as bombs and what they, because he pretty much just checked it out. It's like, oh, that's how you did it, right? So he's gonna tell New Babylon that stuff, but she's like, oh, you're just up here because you're a pussy. And then they see the New Babylon boat. It's wave 2. Someone pops in, kills the girl, and he 100% says, I'm New Babylon to survive. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he's going to be an issue. What do you think?
You know what I think? I think he did some nefarious stuff. And he was, because there's too much time in between. I think he told a lot of different
there's
stories.
a lot. Yeah. There's a lot of time between when he gets caught now and when we see Jenny dead. So there's a lot of time between that. What do you think, JG?
Dude, we've seen so many times that he will jump on any side that's going to keep him alive, right? You kind of can't fault him because you're a scrawny little guy. You can't fight. You probably can't shoot a gun. You got to do what you got. Everyone's surviving at this point, right? What's the best thing for me to do to survive? New Babylon, they got the muscle right now. I'm going to jump on their side, right? If they lose, I'm going to jump on someone else's side. Because I agree, Brian, I think he has done some little sneaky stuff behind the scenes that hopefully will come out next season, because how someone like that keeps being able to jump from side to side and people know he's doing it, you're still living? Nah. I
agree 100%. I could definitely see that. We get to Bruegel and they're in the basement now, and this is where Jenny is, you know, but Pearlie comes in because he was actually okay. So so you talked about them. I think this is where he's trying to burn Jenny in the cage.
Girl,
right?
Don't be scared. It's me, your old pal.
Okay, so it's like he didn't get to the cage yet, right?
But the gate was closed.
Yeah, the gate's still
and
closed,
locked.
Yeah, the gate's closed.
So when did that happen? And that's what makes me think that something else happened that we weren't privy to, and they're going to show it next season.
And to your point, right, when Negan comes in, and the pose, I love the pose, Negan standing there at the bat like that. But when Negan comes in, it looks like he's coming from the opposite direction as to where the Bruegel is going. So that means he would have had to have passed the cage, right? Which means you didn't even give a look to see, you know, where she was, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Unless he was already down there, closed the cage and got in position.
So you think that he already knew that Jenny already turned?
I don't see that. I don't know.
Yeah,
you're kind of thinking like, what point? Like, I don't know. Have we seen how long it takes a person to turn consistently in the show? Because it's always been inconsistent.
It's always inconsistent. That's an issue. It's always like from day one. It's always, I've seen them change right away. And then I've seen them take a bite and not change for like minutes. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely being consistent. So I agree with you on that. But Negan comes, and then his crew comes behind him, and now he has Pearlie and Bruegel there, and we're just gonna play a little bit.
It was him. This guy. He got me to do this.
Hold on, I gotta get to the.
It was him. This guy. He got me to do this. The rest of his people, they're hiding in the park. Oh, there's dozens of them, like 50 at least. They ambushed us. They took hostages. Now, you know how I care about my people. I couldn't just like.
So that's kind of to your point, Brian, where he's looking out for himself, very manipulative, right? He's blaming Pearlie like right away. But you got to think Negan is stupid if you're going to try and pull that shit on him. You know what I mean? Because he knows Pearlie more than he knows you. You know what I mean? But he's like, I know things about New Babylon. We're winners. Negan, I'm on your side. We can get the methane. And Negan says,
you too, Marshall.
Get on your knees.
Okay, man, I wish he had died. In that dude.
Yeah, I think Jenny's behind them.
Okay. Yeah. It kind of makes sense. Now Negan gives the Negan smile, and that's when he's like, you know what? I remember this.
Meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Hey. What he ends up saying,
You know what? Fuck it. See, you're the one that I really want to kill first.
now you see, that's kind of why I say he's Negan at this point, but he's not, because remember in that scene, he killed fucking Abraham right away. There was no hesitation. He killed Abraham, and then Daryl did his shit, and then he killed Glenn right away, right? So it's like, I don't really want to kill Pearlie. I want your ass.
It's funny because he hesitates with all of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why I don't feel like he actually. I think he was pretending, thinking I can just go turn it on. This is something that I can turn on, and I think he lost it.
Yeah,
he's trying to force it. He's trying to pretend like if I play the role long enough, if I force it, it's just going to come, and it didn't.
I agree. JG.
I mean, that's a good point. And plus, you know, you got your goons with you. You don't want to show any weakness, right? So you got to do it at that point. Like if it was just Negan and those two, it'd be a little different. But now you got your goons there too. You don't want them going back saying, "Hey, these guys tried to kill us and Negan let them go." No, can't do it.
And I'm gonna say this death scene, I think at least in this season, and last one had a good one too. But in this season, this is the best death scene I've seen in a long time.
Bro,
this is prelude to. This is foreshadowing.
That bad?
Foreshadowing.
This is foreshadowing. You see what happens with the methane. You put the methane in someone. What does it do? It burns. It lights on fire. And explodes. Guess what's going to happen? This is just foreshadowing what's going to happen next season. I'm telling you.
Blowing up the methane. I can see that.
Take it.
I'm sorry. That shit was lit, bro. That shit was lit. JG, what do you think of that scene?
Yo, I'd rather you beat me in the head with a bat.
Facts.
That's freaking torture. You hit me in the head with the bat, okay, I might get killed after the one hit. Maybe the second one, but I won't feel too much. This, oh my God. Yeah. I mean, the methane and you getting burned from the inside, coming out, you're still alive as your Nah, bro.
And Pearlie booked it after that. Pearlie did the best thing in this part of the episode because he booked it.
That's
Pearlie
the best thing he did. He did what any black person would have done.
Watch.
Fuck this.
Pearlie says, fuck this. I forgot about the bad hit.
He said, I'm gonna leave you white folk alone. I'm out of here.
Oh, that's
look at him. He said, nobody stopped him. Oh my goodness.
Pearlie bounced, right? But Negan wasn't done yet. You know what I mean? And just to say, we see Maggie, and at this point, even though I think she was stupid for letting herself get manipulated, I think Maggie's a little bit smarter than that too at this point. But this is bringing back memories of old Negan, right? Mm-hmm. So I could see someone looking at this part and being like, "Oh, fuck that! I'm gonna kill this guy." You know what I mean? So I could see that.
Happened with Glenn.
Yeah, yeah. She sees the same thing, and it's like, "Nope, I'm gonna kill this guy." But Negan says, "I'm gonna get Pearlie," and even when he was fighting with Pearlie, yeah, it kind of looked like he did want to kill him. Because Negan is smiling and going back into old Negan. Pearlie picks up a weapon. They have a little fight. So Negan pretty much beats him, and as soon as he's about to bust Pearlie in his head, Maggie comes up and stabs him in the back. What are your thoughts on this part, guys? What up, Jason G? He said, I love The Walking Dead. I'm right there with you, brother, and I love Dead City, so this episode was great. What did you think when Maggie stabbed Negan in the back? So first off, last week, we kind of talked about you guys saying you thought Negan might die. Did you think this was going to be the end of him?
Yep.
I kind of did too. I was like, oh no,
bleed out
wait.
slowly, and even when he was crawling toward Jenny, I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna die right.
Yeah, I was like, oh, they're really gonna kill Negan. Like, no, we can't do that.
That's a kidney. You stab a kidney and it's going to bleed. That's an internal organ.
Mhm.
That doesn't just heal up. Like, I don't know how you think getting stabbed in that, so it's going to be okay, or it'll just stop bleeding. No, it's not going to stop bleeding. So I thought that was over for him. But it was like a release of all her hate towards him.
Yeah,
when she stabbed, that was what she needed to do. Right before he was going to kill take another person and kill them, she stabbed him and she stopped it.
100%. And to your point, like you said, not only with the anger, right, being gone at that moment, she felt sympathy right after for what we see next, you know? So, yeah, I definitely thought Negan was a goner at that point, though. I thought he was going to die. JG, did you answer that one?
Well, I thought about stabbing.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. I thought, I don't know if she fully forgave him, but it was a good start, right? It was a good like it's a road to, because Negan's whole thing is like road to redemption. I did all these bad things, even things I'm trying to make up for him as much as I can, right? Maggie's on a road to forgiveness. I don't know how anyone could forgive that situation, but when you think about it, she didn't really know Glenn that long, right? And I'm not trying to downplay her feelings for him, but it wasn't like, what Rick and what's her name?
Michonne. Yeah.
If that's just what happened, it would have been a whole different story. Maggie and Glenn, it's a little, they loved each other, but it wasn't. I think their love is easy for her to forgive that situation than it would be for Rick to forgive the situation that happened to her. For sure.
I love OG Negan. Yeah, we all did. Trust me. I loved OG Negan too. And it was good to see shades of him coming back like that. You know what I mean? And I think in season 3, we are going to see a little bit of shades of old Negan, but to a degree where he doesn't let it lose himself. You know what I mean? And I think that's one of the things that Morgan used to talk about in in Fear the Walking Dead is like not losing yourself. You know what I mean? And at one point he lost himself. You know, so I think that's where we're going to go with Negan with the redemption and being able to have a balance of being able to protect and not just a straight up like murderer, you know? So Negan crawls off and Maggie is creeping up behind him, right? And he's grunting. And you know what's funny too? Because at this point, even though Negan, like he's trying to get to Jenny and stuff like that, because you can see that's what he's doing. He's not like giving any fight back to Maggie, like to the point where like, if this is where I'm gonna go, then I pretty much probably deserved it, kind of thing that he's been thinking throughout the whole season, you know? Rest in peace, Glenn. Absolutely. What do you guys think about that? You think he was pretty much ready to die at this moment?
Yeah, he gave up. He said, you know what? I already took her husband. I know I was in the wrong. I feel bad about the whole thing. She got the drop on me. It's over. I just want to be able to see, he didn't fight her. He didn't do anything after. He wanted to make sure I have to see Jenny one last time to make sure everything's okay and let her know I love her. Because he wasn't able to tell her that.
Absolutely. JJ?
Yeah, one of those. You sat there and watch Glenn die the way he did. You get to see somebody you love die in front of you. And maybe it's not the same thing, but at least you get a taste of what I felt, knowing that you are helpless to save the person that you love because of somebody else. And so,
yeah, but she liked Jenny too. She cared for her. Like I mean, we know that we had those issues even with her son. Herschel kept saying that's my mom because her and Jenny had that that a good relationship, especially because she was taking care of her for a while.
Yeah, but it's also like you have a kid, friend of yours has a kid. You love your friend's kid, but it ain't the same with my kid. See what I mean?
Yeah,
So
for sure.
she likes Jenny.
The wrong one.
Yeah, true. The good son type of thing, right? Like, hey, let up and go, drop them. Right? So yeah, for me, it was one of those. Yeah, she loves Jenny, but it's not the same. It's more of I see myself in you in a lot of ways, as opposed to. I guess it'd be more of like a little cousin kind of vibe. Maybe not so much sister, but little cousin. They, I don't know. I can't explain it, but
I understand.
I got
pretty
you.
well.
I got you. You did a good job. So Negan is crawling on the ground. You hear the ventilator, and as we pan to the cage, a hand comes out.
Jenny, no.
No, so he didn't know.
Yeah, he didn't.
No. No.
So, I'll get to the point because who's your favorite character from The Walking Dead? I have two. Rick and Negan are my two favorite characters.
Jesus was mine.
I like Jesus too.
I like that dude, but I hate how they killed him off.
Yeah, I like Jesus too. What about you, Brian?
I liked Glenn, man. That's why it took me a lot. It took a lot for me, man. I was like, I was pissed off. I was pissed off for a while.
And it's funny because if you go back and if you read the comic or you watch, like I didn't read the comic, but I watched like all the videos on it stuff. Glenn wasn't really that big in the comics. The show was what made Glenn what he was. You know what I mean?
He wasn't anything. So I probably only have maybe 15, but Glenn is not this huge figure at all. It changed.
Yeah.
Oh, Carl Grimes.
Carl Grimes, yeah. Carl, I think I liked Carl towards like before he died. You know what I mean? When he was like kind of a badass Carl, when Negan was like, yeah, you a little badass. Like there was a time he went after Negan himself, you know what I mean? And I was like, okay, Carl is definitely fire, So I can see that 100%.
Yeah. I like Morgan for a while, but he irritated me in Fear the Walking Dead too much.
Exactly.
Oh my God, when he
irritated me.
No, Morgan had a few things where it was his not wanting to kill anybody. That shit was driving me up a wall too. And then in the Fear the Walking Dead, there were some times where he pissed me off too. But there were some times where when he got the stick with the axe, I was like, oh yeah, okay. You know what I mean? But again, I still agree with you. There was kind of like times where I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like,
he's just annoying sometimes. Like, bro.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, he really was.
It's apocalypse. What are you doing?
Yeah, he really was. So we see sympathy in the eyes of Pearlie, Maggie, and Negan is crying on the corner, and
No.
Negan didn't want Maggie to do it, right? So
no, Maggie looked like she didn't want to do it either.
That too, yeah, that too. But I thought the no here was for when she pulled out the knife.
I don't think she pulled the knife out yet.
No, she didn't pull it out.
No.
No, she.
She said Dada.
Sounded like it. Yeah, so she had pulled it out already because she gave it to him, right? So Negan grabs it and he does what he had to do. He takes Jenny, kills her, and breaks down. And you can see where
all the tension just leaves the room. Everything.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
All
yeah,
in one
yeah,
take
yeah,
just
yeah,
leaves.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And I have a Negan baseball bat. Yeah, I would love to have a Miss Lucille too. Trust me, I definitely would. But you're right. Everybody, like all the hatred, the fighting, and everything just died in this moment, right? And I think, and this is the moment too, like you said, where she's like, you know what? Now you understand where I'm coming from. What's up, King Cool Boy? How you doing, brother? Thanks for popping in. Go ahead, JG. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know,
This,
you seen it. Oh, go ahead,
go
go ahead.
ahead. I was just gonna say because this was a like, oh shit moment. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
it was like, damn. So go ahead, JG.
You know, a lot of shows and movies like this, where we see two people in this anger and hatred involved, then an innocent child gets killed in the process. We see like all the anger just leaves the room. It's like, you know what? It wasn't worth it, right? And we see Maggie tell Herschel, like, hey, we can seek revenge, but what are we losing? We're losing ourselves. What are we gaining from it, right? And I think, to you guys' point, that situation, it was like, you know what? All this hatred, what is it getting us? We're still in this, excuse my language, this fucked up world, this fucked up apocalypse, zombies, and people coming in and trying to take over. All this hate is getting us nowhere, right? And I'm hoping it all ended with Jenny's death. And maybe, and I was shocked because I didn't think she was going to die,
Same.
right? At least not like that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, even I was like, you know what? Ursula and Jenny, y'all need to go. But I didn't think you're going to go like this.
Facts.
You
And
know,
it's
funny you say
crazy.
that because if it was Herschel being a zombie, I'd been like,
good
Yeah,
with it.
exactly.
Good with it.
Exactly. And you know what I think the reason why we don't feel that way about Jenny is because we realized in a couple episodes before that the way she's acting is abandonment issues. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you can see that she feels abandoned by the people that are supposed to be taking care of her and she cares about, and they're abandoning her. So it wasn't really about, Negan killing her father. It was about Negan abandoning her. And the fact that Negan never got the chance to fix that with this last episode what was the part that was like, damn, that's just crazy. Go ahead, Brian.
That's exactly the whole point. I feel like, we had a soft spot for it. It helps that she's a girl. It does help that she's a girl. But then knowing that she lost her father, she doesn't have her mother, she doesn't have all that in she hasn't been with Negan. We all saw Negan push her away when she ran to him last season. We all saw that. And know all the pain that she's been through, and she has a good reason. Now, we've also seen this entire season seen Herschel just manipulate everything the entire way. So like seeing her die, and we also once again probably one of the most important character here is Negan and Maggie. So seeing their pain, us seeing the whole world through their eyes, allows us to really feel something about this.
Agreed. 100%. So, but OG Negan is coming back. If Brian is correct and somebody had something to do with Jenny's death, then 100% Negan is going to flip off on that, right? Or
not just him, everybody would, because they all have relationships with Jenny.
Absolutely. Not to mention the threat that New Babylon might have on his family as well, right? Because in one of the insiders, he said it was good to see, the black wife and kitties. And then he was like, we'll see. Hopefully we see you more in next episodes. What if New Babylon caught that boat that was sending them back and has them now? Right? So not only does the Dharma has Herschel, New Babylon has Negan's wife and child. Yes, rest in peace, Glenn. 100. What do you think?
It's a dangerous game.
Yeah,
I think it's definitely a possibility that something like that could happen. So Negan, Maggie, and Pearlie, they go back to this house, and Pearlie's basically telling Negan, I'm going to take the knife out, whether you want me to or not. Sorry, my cat is want some attention. So they pull the knife out, you know, and then they have a little conversation. Well, sorry, go back a bit, because we get Maggie going to see Glenn, and he's pretty much upset that Maggie didn't kill Herschel. Herschel didn't kill Negan, which I kind of think confirms the fact that Herschel does want Negan dead, right? So I think we confirmed that. I just think the Dharma is what put it in his head to make him think that's what he wants. You know what I mean?
The manipulation.
Yeah, exactly. But Maggie says, you know what? I'm going to leave you alone, and I'm going to stay in the city, but when you want me to, I will be back. And I think, as we said watching this episode, that was the best thing that Maggie has done with Herschel this whole season.
It was the best parenting job that she's done, because she's been making excuses for a young man who's been making a lot of mistakes and not having to pay for any of those mistakes because she covers for him. So finally, you're going to make this decision. I'm going to let you. You're going to have to deal with your own consequences. I'm still here if you want to make a better decision, but I'm going to let you go off and be on your own, and you can see how the world really is. So now when the Dharma turns on you and I have to come save your butt, you know, maybe you have appreciation for me and how hard it is to be a parent.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. Because the Dharma is not your parent. The Dharma is not going to protect you. The Dharma will throw you under a bus if shit hits the fan. You know what I mean? And it's either you or the Dharma. She's going to throw your butt under the bus. So, JG, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, Dharma, she does it with everybody, right? You're only as good as, you're only as good to her as your purpose serves, right? And so we saw what happened to Croat, right? Hey, she did everything for her, and quick, she turned on him like Susan Negan did something. Oh, I don't really need you. You're nothing. You're this. You're that. Of course, Herschel wasn't there for that, but same thing could happen to Herschel.
Yeah,
New Babylon is there. If I got a choice between saving you and getting my power back and joining with them, I'm sorry, Herschel, you got to go. And that's what she's gonna do. She's 100%. Not gonna jump from a bullet or a knife like Maggie would. But Herschel doesn't realize that yet. But I'm well, you know what? You done so much dumb shit, dude. Yes, I hope you feel that. I hope you get in a situation where you're crying to mama, mama's looking at you and she can't save you, and you're done. I hope that happens to him. Not in real life, just in the show. Just a character, everybody.
Facts. And you know what's funny too, that you say that too, right? Because if Negan and Maggie and Pearlie become a threat to New Babylon, right, while they're trying to take the methane, or maybe they're stopping them at every corner and stuff like that. If they end up catching the Dharma's going to be like, hey, this is Maggie's kid, the one who's been screwing you up for all this time. Right now, if you let me go or you do something, you'll have leverage with this kid right there. So yeah, she's gonna use him as leverage, 100%. And then we have Pearlie, Maggie, and Negan, and we're just gonna play the little conversation that not really. It's a soundbite that they have here. Because a question is asked.
I'll get the methane.
Question is asked right here.
Walking through the woods, a man comes to a fork in his path. To go left is to go home, his past. To go right is to go out into the unknown, his future. He knows his past. It's comforting. But will it be like he remembers? And his future is full of possibilities, but what if he gets lost? Which way does he go? He goes left.
Back home to the way things were. But all that's waiting for him is an old story. That
He
hurts
he,
too
he
much
okay.
to remember.
He told
So
him
they
everything.
yes, there you go. He led them to the methane. Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, he led them to the methane. Let's see what it's saying. Negan is my number 2. I got you. I'm not crazy about the new Walking Dead shows. I like Rick a little bit. He said, I missed the old episodes. Same. Yeah, I think we all do, especially the early seasons. But for me, I think Dead City is a lot closer to some of those early episodes, those early seasons, than anything else that they've done other than Fear the Walking Dead. You know what I mean? Like this series has been really, really good from season 1 till now. It's been really good. Character development. You know, zombies are still kind of a threat. You got good villains. So I think they're doing a pretty good job of it. I think they're really doing a good job.
So he goes right. But there's nothing.
She does look worried, JG. She does look worried there.
Yep.
Yeah, she see New Babylon coming in. She does look worried there. And Herschel can see that, right? So I wonder if that's because you see how there's a part where Herschel, like, it's like, oh, you're worrying about Negan and wanting to do with Negan, and that's what's taking me. Maybe that's what's going to turn him from the Dharma, seeing that the Dharma is now worried about what's going on in New Babylon and not actually worried about what they plan to do, you know? So it's crazy.
I think what's going to turn him is when she turns on him.
Yeah.
When she tries to give him up.
100%. You hear about the Walking Dead game? It's not that good. I think there was a few of them, but I wasn't.
Telltale games.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Telltales though, so
I wasn't a fan of them either. You know, so.
Because what's the future without the past? What's an ending without that old story?
The truth is, there is only one way forward. One way to move on.
Together.
We gotta work through what was.
To get to what will be. It's a path that's hard and rough. All uphill. We keep thinking we'll never make it.
Sometimes we see where we're headed. We catch a glimpse of the mountaintop. It's so beautiful. It takes our breath away.
But then we lose our footing.
We tumble backwards.
Right back to the bottom.
So that it feels like we'll never get up again.
But we do.
But we do. We help each other up.
And the path becomes much clearer now.
We move on.
Together.
I loved it, right? Because we actually get to the point where Negan and Maggie, or at least more Maggie than anything, looks like she's gotten past that, right? And we've already seen an episode in season 1 where they were like, you and Maggie together would be unstoppable. And I think that's what we're going to see, that Maggie and Negan are going to be just as unstoppable as Rick and Michonne were. What are your thoughts on the final scene, Brian?
It's the new iteration of this Maggie Negan story that we keep on seeing. This new thing that we're actually going to see them together fight everybody and realize how much alike they are. And I think Negan is actually going to get it home to his wife and his kid because of Maggie. Probably, I'm not so sure though.
So, go ahead, JG, and then I'll say that. So go ahead.
Yeah, that last scene is very poetic. I loved it. One of those, because they all tried to escape their past, stuff like that, or like for Negan trying to, I guess you can say, pay back for what he's done. But you can never pay that stuff back. All you can do is learn from it, move on, or do the right thing, move forward. Right? Same with Maggie. The past is what happened. This where we're in now. You have to move forward. Learn from what happened, move forward. Same with Pearl, right? I think that was the gist of that whole speech, and it was beautiful, which sets the tone for the next season, which is all three of them. Hopefully, it'll be just two, Negan and Maggie, and Pearlie be gone. But three of them can be a force to be reckoned with.
I agree.
Now, will they be as powerful as Rick and Michelle? I think if they can learn to trust each other, I still think there may be a couple of trust issues there.
There might be.
But once they move past that, yes, I think they will be even bigger than those two.
And I'll say this because I know a lot of the things that I've been hearing with the videos I'm watching, a lot of the hate is, how Maggie gonna forgive Negan for what he did? Well,
you want to forgive, but you don't hold on to that hate anymore.
Right. And I've seen people in real life actually forgive like the killer of their son and daughter and stuff like that. So it does.
No, that wouldn't happen with me. I'd be jumping over that thing.
Me neither. I wouldn't either.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it does happen in real life. So it's not that far-fetched to say that, right? Especially in a zombie apocalypse, everybody's struggling to survive. It's not that far-fetched of something to say. So, little pig, let me in. What Negan said, loved it. Fire. All of that Negan stuff, right? That's why I loved Negan. I'm right there with you, Jackson. I loved Negan when he first came in. I still, till this day, the episode where we find out that it was Glenn is still one of the best. Well, the episode, the season finale, and then the beginning are the two best episodes of Walking Dead. I love them. I love the way Negan set up Rick and his friends and got them all in that corner and, did his power thing. Yeah, I love old Negan. Trust me. Trust me. I said, we the only ones watching. Yeah, well, we got a few people watching, but it's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to have people in here watching what we do. So I'd do this shit for one person if I had to. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, Brian, go ahead.
I think that the Pearlie's probably there for, I'm gonna be honest, because you can't kill all the black people. You already killed the two black women that are leading, New Babylon. You can't kill all of them in the same season. So I think that's probably why. To that part, I think Pearlie lives a long time. Like
unless he's replaced with a Morgan type of character, then like, okay, they like him more. Get rid of Pearl.
That's the only you have to see a new group, but I don't see you have a new group with New Babylon taking over. Who's gonna volunteer to go be stuck with New Babylon? Because you know how big they are now. So
the one thing about these shows is in every season they always bring in some sort of new group. So I think there's a possibility that they may find other survivors out there, but we'll
you don't
see.
think it's just New Babylon? You don't think it's just New Babylon? The fact they are now the new group because it's the new leadership.
No, I do think
characters are them.
I do think they will be the group, but I do think that there will be some survivors out there that Negan and Maggie will probably run into somewhere. Just like they ran into that little group where the zombies were protecting them. Yeah, I think they're gonna run into a little one like that. So I'm glad that you're
going to Brooklyn.
This. Thank you. Appreciate it. Maybe.
Go to Brooklyn, guys. You
get some black people. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Go to the Bronx. Boogie down. Let's go. Then get rid of Pearlie. All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, pretty much that was the end of the episode, which I thought was great. I did have a video I was going to bring in, but I'm not going to do that. Well, I'll show you guys it backstage, right?
Gotcha.
And then if you want to do something after, because I do plan maybe to do a reaction to, but I'll do it on like a video or something like that if you want. But yeah, man, to me, great episode. Like I've given every episode this season, it was an A+. This is an A+. The series in whole is an A+. I'm excited about season 3, and we're in fall. We're getting season 3 of Daryl Dixon, guys. So I'm gonna do that too, even though I'm not really. I like Daryl Dixon. It's good. You know what I mean? But I'll do season 3. No problem. Because I know he has Carol in there as well. So I'll definitely do Daryl Dixon as well. Brian, tell the people where they can find you, sir.
Hey, at 1/3 of Spoiler Kings, we go live Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. This Thursday, we're going to talk about Ironheart. I'm going to watch all 3 episodes, tell you if it's worth for you guys to watch. and see if it's worth all the hate that you already saw. Rotten Tomatoes already getting a 37%, even though it hadn't dropped yet. And then on Saturday, we're going to do a watch along for Harry Potter. We're going to watch all 7 of them. We'll watch, or 8 of them, really, the movies. We'll watch them all, and we'll, talk about them and compare them to what we're going to get in the new HBO Max series. So can't wait to do that with you guys. If you want to come join, we'll be at 9:30 each of those nights. So
9:30 Eastern, right?
9:30 Central. So
Central.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I completely forgot what I was going to say. Completely forgot what I was going to say. Wow. Said the good old days.
It's because the birthday is coming in 2 days, and that's why it's already forgetting.
Yeah, that could be a possibility too as well. You know what I mean? So JG, you know what to do.
JG Shaolin Terrific, the undefeated, undisputed final boss of the Thursday Champions of Shaolin. Wee! The Black Jim Kelly martial artist, movie actor, one of the greats, the Afro Thunder himself. I'll leave it at that. Yo, thank you all for all tuning in and see this season, Dead City Season 2, Episode 8, season finale roundtable. It was fun, man. Can't wait for Season 3. But if you want to catch us later, check me out Wednesday nights on the OOC with the host Nzo, a.k.a. the Abbott, and the Osiris of the the Spliff King, the Professor of Gunja, alongside the co-host Roberto, a.k.a. Mr. 100, a.k.a. No Trouble Did Anything Going to be Irie. No woman, no cry.
Boom, boom, boom.
And of course, everyone get on your feet, stand up, give eyes to the behemoth, the giant one, the dreadlocked assassin, my fan cast for Luke Cage, F.U. Mike Coulter, the real Yasuke, 1/3 of the Spoiler Kings, the titans of YouTube, Chi-Town's finest, the boss himself, Brian, the Grizzly.
Yes, sir. And you see he's representing his From shirt. We are waiting for From to come back because we will be watching that shit and doing all the breakdowns just like we did last season. And I remembered what I wanted to ask you. So we get 3 episodes of Ironheart tonight and then 3 tomorrow?
3 next week.
3 next week, okay. Because I was going to do a watch party. Yeah, I was going to do a watch party for the 3 episodes tonight. And I was like,
I'm hearing that they're good. I hear the episodes are good, but they're not putting anything behind it. And it's going to be a lot like, Black Widow. This might have been good if you put it out 2.5 years ago.
So since we don't have no Walking Dead stuff to do next week, if I like these episodes, then we'll do the watch party next week. We'll watch Ironheart together, the last 3 episodes. Thank you, everybody, for popping in. Much appreciated. Jackson, cool. King, cool boy. Appreciate you guys coming in. Tony Robinson was also here. If anybody, make sure you check out Spoiler Kings, JG Shaolin too as well. With his cousins, his uncle's channel. I'm sorry.
GGC. I keep forgetting about him. Yeah.
Crazy forgetting about your uncle. Tell him where the channel is, JG.
Somewhere on YouTube.
Somewhere.
The GGC, hosted by the Jag himself. New York's finest, right out of South Kakalaki.
And you know what? Since these guys are doing their old little watch party for Harry Potter, and I got 2 little people in here that, maybe I'll do a watch party for some old Walking Dead shows. We could do that.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
We could definitely do that. You know what I mean? So I have people coming here watching some Walking Dead from the beginning. And doing it like that. So that's a good idea. I think I might do that.
I like that. That's a really good idea.
Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate every single one of you. We will be back with another well, not this one, but something else for you guys to watch with us. Tomorrow night will be the OOC. Make sure to check that out. Peace, love, and hair grease. See you on the next one. Peace. All right, brother, you got it.
Inevitable.